everybody, it's Kelsee Briana J, and in today's video I'm playing with the new Huda Beauty Nude Obsessions eyeshadow palettes, and she came out with 3 of them, so I'm trying out all 3 of them today in this video. So let's jump into it. I picked up all 3 of these palettes from Sephora, and this is how they come packaged. So it comes in a clear case, and here's what the palette looks like. So this is one of 3. This is the lightest one. Each one retails for $29, and it has 9 different eyeshadows in here, and in each pan it has 1.1 grams of eyeshadow, or 0.038 ounces of eyeshadow. So the packaging has this faux leather texture. Like I said, this one is the lightest one. Next we have the medium one, and lastly we have the rich one. So as you all can see, it's a gradient of colors going from lightest to darkest. So the purpose of having a light, medium, and rich palette is to have 3 different palettes to complement an array of different skin tones. So the lightest palette is obviously the light one, and this one is described as a beautiful balance of light and creamy praline hues in both warm and cool tones. This palette features peachy shades with unexpected pops of lavender and mauve. The champagne and brown shimmers will add unbelievable dimension to each and every look. On the inside of the palette, all 3 of them have a mirror, and here is the lightest one. So just like the description says, it has the pops of color, but then at the same time it has very light neutral shades. So next we have the medium one. This one is described as Huda's favorite. This versatile palette is a rich mix of spicy tones combining chestnuts and deep browns, featuring metallic shimmers in warm yellow, rose gold tones, rustic copper, dusty pink, coral, and unique terracotta shades. And lastly, we have the Nude Rich palette. So this one is described as a dreamy collection of rich and creamy matte shades, inclusive of milky and dark chocolate browns, crimson red, dusty rose, and sandy fawn with pink undertones, burnished gold, blushed bronze, dusty rose, and deep brown metallics complete the palette with shimmer and dimension. So I'm going to do a look with each of these palettes. I have on the medium one if anybody is curious. I will show you all how to do this eye look. So let's go ahead and jump into it, starting with the light eye look, and then we're going to go on to the medium one, and then we're going to go on to the rich one, and then stay tuned until the end, and I will tell you all my final thoughts on these Nude Obsessions palettes. Let me blow my kiss. Enjoy. So here's the first look that we're doing using the Nude Light palette. So I'm starting out with a fluffy brush. This is a Royal and Nickel BOM 44 in this color. On top of my concealer, I'm going to go directly in my crease with this color and blend it back and forth. Same brush, and I'm going to take this color. Let's apply this directly in the crease. Now I'm going to take a Wayne Goss number 17 brush in the same color and pack that on the outer corner. Now I'm taking a flat shader brush. This is a Rougher 02 brush in this color, and I am going to apply this on my lid. So now I'm going to take a pencil brush. This is a Rougher 03 brush in this color, and then pop that on the inner corner. Next, I'm going to go in with this color, same brush. I am going to pop that on the middle of the lower lash line. And finishing it off, I'm going to take this color and wrap it around and connect it to the top. Make sure you are connecting it to the middle color as well. So here's the finished look using the Nude Light palette. So here's the second look that we're doing using the Nude palettes, and this one is using the medium palette. So first I'm going to take a fluffy brush. This is the Sonia G Crease 2 brush in this mid-tone brown. And I am taking this directly in the crease. And this is going to be my transition shade as well as my crease color. So I'm applying it directly in the crease first, and then I'm using swirling motions to buff it upwards. Next I'm taking a MAC 221 brush in this shade. This one is a smaller blending brush. Moving down, I'm taking this color directly in the crease and I am not blending this upwards. So I'm just using back and forth motions to apply this. Next, I'm using the same brush to pick up this color. And I am going to take this shade and pop it on the outer corner. Next, I'm taking a flat shader brush in this top middle color. And I'm popping that on the inner corner. Same brush, and I'm picking up this shade. I am going to pack that on the lid very carefully so I can get as minimal fallout as possible. And I want to meet it up at the crease. I want to meet it on the outer corner color, and I want to meet it on the edge of where the inner tear duct color is as well. In the middle, I'm going to take a very small pencil brush in this color. I'm going to pop that right in the middle. And lastly, I'm taking the deepest shade. And I'm going to take this and connect it to the top. So here's the finished second look using the Nude Medium palette. Here's the last look that I'm doing using the Nude Rich eyeshadow palette. So I'm first going to go into this middle shade with the Sonia G Worker Pro brush. And I am going to take this as my transition / first crease color. So back and forth, I am applying this color and then buffing it up. Same brush in this color. Move down ever so slightly. I'm going to further define the crease with this color. So back and forth. Same brush, taking this color. I'm going to take this on the outer corner and pack it on. Now I'm going to take a flat shader brush. This is a Delium 773 brush in this color. And I'm going to pack this on. And I'm not going to take it all the way over. I'm going to take it right here, right next to the outer corner color, and then bring it up to the crease. Same brush, taking this color. I am just going to continue to pack this color on. I'm not going to take it all the way on the inner corner, but I am going to apply it on the rest of the lid, sans the inner corner. Reference 03 brush, and I'm taking this color. Take this on the inner corner. Same brush, and I'm going to take this color. I'm going to take that on the rest of the lower lash line, all the way across. So here's the finished look using the Nude Rich palette. So let's talk about my final thoughts using the Nude Obsessions palettes. First of all, I really love the packaging of these palettes. I feel like it's super sleek, very chic. I love how it has the texture here. There's color variations to differentiate between the light one, the medium one, and the deep one. So the packaging is A1 for these. Now let's talk about what's inside of the palettes. I think that the color stories for each one of these is very cohesive, very well put together. I love each one individually. You guys see I'm a medium dark complexion and I can use all three of them. So I love the color story for the light one. It has the peachy pink, very light whimsical colors. I love the pop of purple in here and the nice mauve tones. And I also like that even though this is the lightest one, it does have a deeper color in here for me to be able to put it in the crease to give some definition to my look. The medium palette's color story is the most complementary one to my complexion overall. These colors are very rich. They're caramel. They blend and they fuse very well with my complexion, and so I think this color story is beautiful and it complements my eye color and my skin tone. So I really like this one. If you have a deeper complexion than me, you can definitely still use this one. Or if you have a lighter complexion than me, you can still use this one. I think this one is very versatile and it's the most universal out of the three that she launched. And lastly, we have the darkest one, the rich one. And for this one to be called the rich one, in my opinion, the colors in here aren't that rich. In my opinion, these two colors are the only two rich ones. And then if you cover those up, this palette looks very light and pinkish in tone in comparison to the other two, which do have more so of a nudish element. Like this color up here, I think this color is very light. And if you have a rich complexion, think MAC NC50 and darker, these colors are going to be very light on you, especially if you have a complexion that's about MAC NW50, which is very rich and beautiful. But these colors don't have a lot of depth to them because they are still lighter in tone, even though in comparison to the light and the medium palettes, they're darker. But overall, I wouldn't consider these shades to be rich shades. But for all of these palettes, I wouldn't qualify qualify these palettes as nude palettes overall. I would call these palettes neutral palettes. And that's because there's a few nude colors sprinkled here and there throughout these palettes. But overall, I think the color story is more neutral than it is nude, because we have pinkish colors, we have peachy colors, purple, literal purple is in here. So to me, these aren't technically nude, because when I'm thinking of nude colors, I'm thinking of flesh tone type colors. So maybe not necessarily the exact color that somebody's skin is, but a variation of that. And nobody's skin is really purple. Like, you can argue the vein thing, but overall, nobody has purple skin. So I would call these palettes neutral palettes, and that's the same argument that people had with her new nude palette that she came out with. And this palette also was called a nude palette, but this palette had a lot of pinky, purpley, peachy colors in here, which is the same thing as this. So maybe this is Huda's interpretation of what nude is, but to me it's neutral. As a person who does have the new nude palette, I don't think it's necessary to have all three of these palettes, and I don't feel like there are any dupes across these palettes, but there are several close colors, especially in the lightest one. I feel like the lightest one has the most similarity to the new nude palette. So if you have this palette and you use it a lot and you want a smaller counterpart to maybe travel with, or if you do your makeup on the go all the time, then this may be a wise investment. But if you have this palette and you never use it, I don't necessarily think that you need the light one. As far as the other ones, there may be like one color that's pretty similar, but overall these are a bit different than this palette that she's already had out. I think that Huda did an amazing job. These are my favorite Obsessions palettes that she has come out with thus far, and that's because these are very smooth, they're very blendable, and they're very pigmented. So I really love that about these. I especially love the matte shades in these palettes. They're very smooth, they give you the color that you need, and they don't dust away, so they don't have a lot of kickback. They're not very powdery. I like the shimmers as well, but I did find across the board that I did get a bit of fallout with the shimmers. Nothing too ridiculous, but I would say with the shimmers, they could benefit from me using a spray or using some glitter glue or some sort of tacky base for them to adhere a little bit better to. So I would recommend for you to do your foundation and your concealer and all that good stuff after you do your eyeshadow, because you are going to get fallout with the shimmery shades. But like I said, it's not a lot, especially if you use the packing motion. When you're applying these, you're going to pack them on the lid, and then they'll stay and adhere a little bit more, because you are literally squishing them to your lid so you can get the maximum color impact and you're getting minimal fallout. Overall, the formulation of these is amazing. It's very consistent to her larger pan palettes. I didn't notice as much of a difference with these as I have some of her other Obsessions palettes in the past. And like I've said in my other Obsessions videos, I like the Obsessions palettes. They are at a lesser price point, and oftentimes they're a little bit trendier, so you can experience and try out different trends without investing a lot of money into them. And I think that these are the closest to how Huda typically formulates her larger palettes. So if you have not gotten to experience her larger pan palettes, because those are quite pricey, then I think that these are on par with those. My absolute favorite one out of the three is the one that I think is most meant for my complexion, which is the middle one. And I think these colors just overall pop on me, so I'm really a big fan of this one. The other two are nice, but I think the other two have more so of a pink undertone, so naturally I'm going to be drawn to this one more. I look forward to reading you all's comments, and I will check you all in my very next video, which will be super soon. Smooches. Bye.